Okay, it feels pretty good now. I do have some spots. I haven't went over with 180 yet or 320 because you don't want to sand it all down with 80 and not have, you don't want to keep sanding and make low spots. If you go to 180 before you fill these things, sometimes when you hit the high spots you'll make it low and then the primer doesn't really fill that because you're not really looking for a huge amount of build with your primer. You really want to do it in filler because I think it's really stable and it's a good product. So I'm just gonna, you should never Bondo or skim over anything that hasn't been sanded. So even though it's filler and I can't get to it, you don't want to just fill over that scratch that hasn't been sanded because it tends not to adhere very well. You always want to, even if you get pinholes, you want to dig them, or you want to take a razor blade or a drill or scratch it, just because you want to have good bite with your filler on top of filler. All right, here's some glaze that I'm going to use. You don't need a lot of this, it goes a long ways. And got the lid off and just squeeze some out. Really, you don't need much at all. And again, it's hot today, it's humid, so we don't need a lot of hardener because this glaze really sets up fast anyway. So you don't need much hardener. I can tell it's getting firm already. So I just want to go over these couple areas where I caught an edge. And what I like to do with glaze, I like to get on it while it's still soft. One, it adheres really good right now. But two, when you do it soft, you remove the second layer before you really start getting into your first layer of Bondo. Even with this, I like to take, again, a little lacquer thinner to get the skin off it. You can see, and like I said, it just helps it not gum up that sandpaper as much. So like I said, I use 180, and it's pretty soft yet actually, so it should come off relatively. It's kind of rolling off, and you can tell that's soft then. Okay, here I got this 3M dry guide coat. It's just basically graphite, and I'm just going to smear it and rub it into all these 80 grit scratches, and I'm going to sand this till it's off and repeat the process in 320. Take off my tape, just run around the edges with some 320, or you can use a red Scotch-Brite again if you like. But I'm going to then just take it into booth and prime it for the final time. Now we're back in the booth and we're getting ready to put primer on it. I use Glazzer at 285/60. I really like it. It sands super easy. But you shouldn't prime over bare metal. So really the proper way to do it is then just get some more epoxy and spray it over the top of the bare metal areas. Not the whole thing, you don't want to go over the Bondo necessarily, just the bare metal areas. So then again you have your corrosion protection. I'm just going to use some self-etch, and I'm just going to etch the areas that are bare metal, and then I'll put the 285/60 over that. So we're good. I'll let that flash off and we'll go to the 285/60. So right now we're going to clean this up, relieve get the air out of it, because what happens, you can paint upside down because it sucks the bag closed. So there's fluid inside there. We want to just open it up, let some air in. It'll drop the bag and we won't have as big a mess when we unhook this. Just run some thinner through it into the waste barrel we have here. Clean it up, take it apart. We're ready. So that's it. We'll just hang it up and wait for the primer to dry, sand it, and paint.